Hey, Dre is on the track.
Welcome back. We have a title now. The the Untitled Movie Review Show. That's what people said. We should keep it what the title was we originally started. So
I'm fine with that.
So we are the Untitled Movie Review Show, and this is the hate we give. Is you give, but we give too.
Mm-hmm. All the hate we have for the hate you give. No love from me for the hate you give.
All right, so go over your initial thoughts as we get this started.
My rating.
Yeah, you're rating for it.
If we're doing a scale of 1 to 5,
yes,
I will give it a very generous 2.
Ooh, generous 2.
Yes, I'm being very generous
because they're black, right? It was a black writer, all that good stuff.
That and I appreciate that it's getting people talking.
Okay.
And that it's giving some people perspective where they may not have previously had it.
Okay. I'm going with a 2.5 stars for this. I started it when we left it. Me and Raven went to see it at a screener last week. When I initially came out, I was like, man, it's like a 3.5. But as I thought about it, maybe more mad. Raven made me more mad as we rolled back home because I was like, damn, you're right. This is a bad movie.
Yeah. I mean, it's the struggle that I have with a lot of movies that are discussing material that needs to be discussed, but it's just the story is told in a messy way. So I am purely giving that rating based on the way the story was told. Because I do think that it's important content. I'm happy people are talking about this. I'm glad there was a movie made. Even though it's a little bit juvenile, I think that there's a place for it, but I still think that it was irresponsible. And we can kind of go through that as we talk about the movie.
Yeah, I mean it's a young A book or a young adult book, so I can get that. I think kids that are of a certain age should see this film. Mm-hmm. I get it for them because it's an ABC after school special.
Yeah.
But with black people in it. Because did we ever have an ABC after school special with black people in it? I was thinking about that.
Not that I can remember.
I don't remember that. This is the closest thing we got to it.
Right. I mean, I think this is like an exploration of social issues in the way that like Twilight is an exploration of love.
Oh my God. I don't even know if I've seen a Twilight all the way through. Any of them.
Yeah.
I boycott it.
I'm more entertained by Twilight than I was by this movie.
I mean, one of the dudes looked like he was in Twilight in the movie, but we'll get into that. Mm-hmm. So the movie starts off where we meet Star. She is the main protagonist in there. She's played by Amanda Steinberg. And she is a code-switching kid. Actually, let me move it back. We meet her family. Mm-hmm. Her mother, father, her half-brother, which we thought was her younger brother, but it ended up being her older brother somehow. I don't know. I was confused in the way that...
Yeah, another example. That's like the first example of the messy and unnecessary.
Her brother's 7. Like, I thought he was younger brother. I didn't know he was older.
Yeah.
But he's a half-brother, I guess. And then there's another pivotal scene that comes up later on with Regina Hall. And then it didn't make sense of, like, Amanda's questioning to her about why she ended up with her dad. It's just like, he just had another kid before you. I feel like he just had another kid before you. And
yeah. Let's get her name right first. It's Amandla.
It's Amandla. It's not Amanda.
Amandla. It might even be Amandla, but there's an L in there.
Okay, Amanda.
It's not Amanda. No.
Okay. I'm not trying to disrespect you, Amanda, if you're listening. You'll probably be mad a little bit later on as we continue. So we don't want to start off by disrespecting your name. So we meet them there at the kitchen table. We get to meet her. She talks about it. And then she has a little brother named, what's her little brother? 7.
Oh, no, the little brother.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. They said his name so many times. I feel like I should
His name means like joy or something. Sakani. He means
yes.
joy or love or something like
I do
that.
remember her saying his name meant joy.
So you get to meet all of them. Then you fast forward and you find out that she goes to basically Winchester, but it's not a college, but the high school version of Winchester for kids. But they dress up in uniforms, all that good stuff, and she's code switching. Mm-hmm. This is where I've started off first. I went to a school like this. I've experienced that, and maybe because his time is differently. We talked about this a little bit. Like maybe maybe white people have adapted more to hip hop culture than they did then. But I feel like we had a definitely more code switch back then than that. That's not code switching to me by being nice. Like, just being nice is not code switching.
Yeah.
And that's how I felt that she thought code switching was being nice.
We're acting professional at school. Like that. I wouldn't
Like
consider
not
that
be
code
like
switching.
not whooping nobody ass just off of GP.
Yeah, like that's not code
Yeah,
switching.
that's
Like
not-
that's just like behaving
Yeah,
at school.
Like I didn't get that at all. Her idea of code switching, like, and then her friends. So the one girl will be Asian. Remember we tried. She was ambiguous looking.
Yeah.
She was supposed to be Asian in the book.
Okay.
And then her other friend, what was her name? Let me pull her up.
We'll just call her Becky.
Yeah. It was something close to that though, wasn't it?
Let's see.
Haley.
Yeah.
I mean, same thing. So, what'd you think about her school interactions with with the kids, and the idea that she has to be somebody else? And because I didn't feel like she was acting that hood when she was in the hood, though.
I didn't think so. I didn't even. I understood she said she was code switching, but they didn't even show that within her character. So it was something that didn't. It could have served the plot if they gave a better example of what code switching actually is, and didn't just take stereotypes about the worst stereotypes about black people, like I'm not gonna fight nobody, I'm gonna talk like I have sense, like, and then say that that's code switching, because that's not what I would consider code switching.
I wanted her to be like, and this is maybe stereotypical, it's me saying this, but I want her to be like walking through hey my nigga, what up? I see you later, like, or something like that, where she like amongst her people seemed like she just acted the same in both places.
She did.
Like, I didn't see her code switch like that. Like, I was uncomfortable with that because I had to live in that world, and then had to get to a point where I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be me, and that's when,
I went to a pretty diverse high school, and that was what
Actually, your high school was probably one of the most diverse in St. Louis at that time.
We were in 17 magazine for how diverse we were.
Really?
Featured there, yeah. But so I don't know, and I've never personally experienced code switching just because I'm not really capable of it. I am who I am everywhere, received well some places, not others. So what is your example of code switching, and where did this movie get it wrong?
Code switching is, to me, and I didn't do it as much as I've seen other cats do it, where they'll be overtly acting like they like certain music. That's like code switching, or overtly saying like, oh, did you have you been to this restaurant? Your parents been to this restaurant, and you'd be like, yeah, or
lying about your experiences.
Yeah, lying about your experiences, or amping up your experiences, like saying, okay, your family went to the Red Roof Inn, but you said it was the Crown Plaza. I'm not,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying, amping it up of like, oh yeah, I've been to Chicago too. Oh, you guys stay on the Magnificent Mile? Yeah.
Yeah, or pretending to be interested in things you aren't actually interested in.
Yeah, like, so there was a thing that it was a running joke, and I even talked to, shout out to Teddy, and I asked him, I was like, hey, what was the 2 albums we used to get in the cars with cats if we were around with somebody, or if you were like seeing what CDs they had? What was the 2 rap albums they had? And he was like, damn, what do you mean? And I was like, think about it. Mid 90s, late 90s, we was in high school. He was like, The Chronic. I was like, yep. And what's the other one? Doggy Style. Yep. And that was because they was on MTV all the time. You got to think, them 2 cats was like they're like the biggest thing on MTV at that time in the 90s. It wasn't nothing beating Dr. Dre and Snoop and them. They were big and humongous, and they were a little bit edgy and things like that. No, but we had to listen to Green Day. We were listening to Sublime, Korn, Nirvana still. Even though Kurt Cobain offed himself, he's living forever. He's like he's the first Tupac. Not Tupac. Kurt Cobain was.
Yeah.
His wife didn't kill him. He's still alive. First time I heard that was from white kids at school. That Kurt Cobain was still alive. And that Courtney Cox had him killed if he was killed.
So did you pretend to be interested in those groups? Or
no, man. Because the thing is though, I was blessed in the situation is that my class coming in the SLU, I went to Saints University High School. It's an all boys Jesuit high school. First high school west of the Mississippi. And I came in with the biggest class of black people that they ever had to that point. Now it's different. I came in with 22 black dudes. So we had 2 or 3 lunch tables. I had to revert. My freshman year, I didn't have anyone. I only had one white friend. Shout out to Alec Pinkston. He was my only white friend my freshman year. Because I didn't need to. I came out with all these black dudes. You had every class. You had at least 2 other black dudes in it. You go to lunch. You had 2 or 3 black tables. There is a book called Why Do All the Black Kids Sit Together? It's about lunch. Why do all the black kids sit at the same lunch table? Same premise. We all had on tables. Literally, I was insulated from that. We went to the dances all together. We had our own little areas. And then Teddy and all them was the class above us. So when we had mixers, they had like 10 or 12 in their class. So we all together. And then the girls that would come from so we literally have our own pockets within even mixers. Like, people understand mixers are like the little things. You ever went to mixers?
I was at your slew mixers all the time.
Before I met you? Or?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, that's how I met Teddy.
You met Teddy before you met me?
I think so. Or
Really?
around the same time, yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep,
So
I was at the slew mixers.
Okay. Damn. So you know how it went then. So
Yes.
we'd have our own little pocket area. We wait for the black songs to come on, and we kick it. Look, and then you like another thing. I think we kind of did in code switching is we would automatically be the most dope dancers. That we'd automatically like we'd have to like I'm trying to think what songs was like. Oh, the big one that white people love to see black people dance, and they would try to jump in is I put my hand up on your hip when I dip, you dip.
Ooh, you're taking me back to Club Energy days.
Right, but I'm saying, but they love that. And they would like, oh man, do it with me, man, do it with me, do that dip with me. And those were things,
Where you feel
and then
like-
when they said weren't comfortable with it. But fast forward though, in my life there, 18 of them dudes got kicked out or left the school for grades, whatever it may be.
Of the black kids?
Yeah, so I was by the time I graduated, it was only 4 of us.
Oh, wow.
So that next year, I think maybe we went down to maybe 7 or 8. So then it was like, dang, I gotta figure this out now. Then I went through a depression period because it was like
You don't have your Oasis there.
I didn't have it. So I was literally a sophomore redefining myself in the high school that I thought I knew because I had everybody around me. So I ended up getting cool with more white guys, but I ended up knowing that like to be me is me. They wanted to know, and I mean, at least the guys I was cool with wanted to learn about me and vice versa, and we could talk and we could chop it up. And one of my closest homeboys, shout out to my boy Blake Schaefer, and he's a trainer over in Sweden. He's been there 15 years. He's a model, everything. He was the one. Me and him used to go get out, sneak out of school, go get albums together and stuff. Like that was my road dog, man. So I necessarily didn't code switching, but I did sit there and
recognize
different things, and different things I would just kind of shield off about myself from them until I got comfortable, and I became more. By the time I graduated, I was like, "Fuck it, man, we gonna do this shit," you know, and I'm gonna be me.
Yeah, and because I was saying, like, knowing you, I can't see you actually code switching.
No, but I did feel like I suppressed certain things within me.
Yeah.
You know,
I
but
could
I did
see
feel
that.
like I suppressed certain things. Like, dang, man. Not like I wasn't gonna whoop no, because like the thing was though, we had strength in numbers then when I was my freshman year. Ain't no one nobody saying nothing to us. It was 22 people deep at all times.
Yeah.
You know, like we fought the other black dudes at the other schools. You know, like that's how deep we were. We were that deep. We would run up on the other school's freshmen for all the other all-boys schools in our conference freshmen.
Well, y'all do need to be suppressing that in school, whether you call that code switching or what. Just act like
man.
it isn't sense. But anyway, let's take it back to the movie.
So I didn't think that, because I seen other cats code switch though, especially kids that came in smaller classes of black people behind me, where I was like, dude, like, yo, like, it was one dude, we called him Powder, because he acted white, like that white. And it's probably bad that we called him that, but he acted that white. We literally, I was like, yo, I don't even know how we came up with his nickname. He was like, hey, yo, Powder. And I don't know how it started. We called him Powder, and he just, that was his name. I don't know what happened to him. Shout out to you, Powder. I mean, I need to find where you are, man. I think he graduated from SLU. I'm not sure, but Powder, I would see him and he would just be like, I don't know. It's like my uncle always say though, man, like he's like, you could be interested in a whole bunch of different things, but there's a different level between keeping your blackness and like not. It's like a weird thing, and I think sometimes it gets mixed up. I think sometimes with some people where they be like, oh, they only made fun of me because I talked white or I talked intelligent. No, man, you might just be corny, B. There's a possibility there. You know, that's how I feel though. Like I'm always talk proper, but you always knew I was a black ass dude though, which is, you know what I'm saying? Like I can still talk proper and still be black.
Yeah.
So sometimes I get confused when some people have that perspective of like, oh, everybody made fun of me because I talked white. I ain't never had nobody ever tell me I talk white.
Because you don't.
But I mean, I don't talk unintelligent either though.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying though.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just me. But Powder, shout out to you, Powder. I need to find you. I need to put that in my notes. I'm gonna find Powder, y'all. He was 2 classes below me.
I hope you know this person's real name.
I don't know his real name, but I'm gonna find out his real name. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna find out his real name. Powder, I'm gonna find you, man. we're gonna bring you back home, man.
Okay.
So-
All right. See where Powder is. today.
Powder, man.
Okay.
And I probably was wrong, man, because I was a bully though in high school too. Keep that in mind, y'all. I've changed a lot. I know people still think I'm a bully somewhat. I was even worse in high school, for the record. So Powder probably came from me. I'm probably really.
You're the one that created.
I think I may have created the name Powder, for the record, and because I came in real small in high school, but then I got like real taller. But like I had a short man's mentality. I'm not super tall now either, but I'm average height now.
If you all can see the look I gave Daryl,
I know,
and for those of you who may not
But
have
I'm
ever
average height though
seen him
now.
in person,
You got me when I came into high school, I was 5 foot. Like 5 foot 5'1".
Daryl might be a good 5'8", 135
No.
pounds
5'9"
now.
and a half.
Excuse me.
150. All right. I'm trying to get Tupac size. 5'9", 165. That's my goal.
Okay, let's take it back to the hate you give and off the Daryl show.
Yes.
Okay.
And Powder. Shout out to you, Powder, man. I love you, man.
All right. Yeah. So that was just kind of one of the things I had an issue with. Overall, my whole view of the film is that there were a lot of opportunities to discuss and explore stereotypes and issues within the African American community and cultural appropriation and
The cultural appropriation thing that's big though, that they didn't really explore that much. They talked about because she even talked to her boyfriend saying just because you, or was it her friend?
I mean, they
Yeah, but like
they
you just because you
touched on
like
it
black
very-
music don't mean that you a part of this.
Yeah, I mean, they touched on it a little bit, and that's not necessarily what the movie was supposed to be about. But I just mean they're kind of things that they throw out at the audience, but don't fully explore them or are inconsistent with the message they're trying to send.
And so, what do you think about the portrayal of her father? I think Roger Hornsby killed it.
Yeah, he's gonna definitely get a BET award or something.
No. I think he might get an Oscar on the low for best supporting actor.
Okay.
Or a nomination
You're
for best
going too
supporting
far.
actor. No, I'm dead serious.
You're going too far.
Look, the
going
white
too
folks
far.
have given this movie an A+. You think he ain't gonna maybe be nominated?
You're going too far.
He may not get an Image Award though, but he gonna get a. Well, no, he might get an Image Award too. They ain't gonna let him play himself on an Image Award. But Roger Hornsby killed it to me. He was
He
the best
did.
part of
Okay,
the
he performed the role he was given well. Are you talking about the character or the actor?
Him is acting.
His acting was fine.
I like the character actually. Because you never see a black male. If you see a black male character that is dope and he's a good grounded father, he's got to always be the one that was the only dude in the hood that didn't do no wrong. You know, he was the one that became a lawyer but stayed in the hood,
You
or
know
he didn't
what?
do no
Okay.
wrong. Like they didn't show. They showed that he had a transformation and an arc.
Okay, fine. Okay. So there were so many other characters I didn't like, and I didn't like his interactions with other characters that I might be being overly critical. Because I think you're right about that. And then going back to the beginning of the movie when we were talking about how they introduced the family, I really appreciated that at first it looked like a nice black family where the parents are in love. You're not having like a single mom struggling. I mean, that's definitely part of the story of the black experience. But it was good to see something else.
There's a lot more experiences we have too, though.
Yeah, absolutely. So it was good to see something else done with it. So no, I definitely appreciated his dedication, his family, his dedication, his community. He might be the only character that was consistent with what they wanted his character to be. But there were still some times where I was always expecting there to be a climax with either the characters or a climax in the movie, but it just never got there.
I mean, you did have
And
a
I-
climax. The
Where?
John signal to the ending. Go ahead.
Oh my God!
We'll talk about
Where
that.
I wanted to put my purse on my
No,
shoulder and
literally.
walk out.
I'll talk about how you reacted after we get there.
Yeah. So no, there was never a good climax in this movie for me. So yeah, to go back to your question,
Yeah.
I think that he played the character well, and the dad and the father character. Okay, he was probably one of the better characters in the movie.
So with her going to, I guess her others, like, so they show her being around the white people, and you meet her boyfriend. He tried to have sex with her and all that. At first, I thought he was gonna be a dick.
Yeah, I did too.
Of like on some like I just want to have sex with a black girl thing. That's the way I thought it was finna go. I was ready for it. I was ready.
Yeah.
I was zeroed in on it.
That
But then he
just
turned
would've
into the
added-
white savior.
There was already too much damn shit in this movie that if they put that in there too, it would have been too much.
Well, they
but
changed to the white savior though. He became the white
Right,
shadow.
I was just about to say, I almost think I would have appreciated that more because it might have been more realistic. And
Yo,
Might
this
have
white
had
guy,
better follow-through
man,
to the
look, man,
storyline
my
they
boy
had.
Alec, man, I told y'all about that. I had my 2 white friends from high school that I keep up with all the time. He been a lot of places he shouldn't have been with me, that I was surprised that a white guy would go to, and he ain't do as much as that dude did in 3 days in this movie. In 3 days.
Yeah.
Because this timeline, y'all, is real short, y'all, just for
It
the
really
record.
is. Yeah, it's a very
A lot of
short
stuff happens in like 2 weeks.
Uh-huh.
I'm just saying.
I mean, I'm not sure of like the timeline. I'm not sure of like even the timeline within the days that they filmed in the movie.
Look, there was,
'cause it
the prom
all
was
over the
long.
place.
We'll talk about the prom. That was the longest prom night
Oh
ever.
my God. But then the shortest day ever when they get to the riot. So, I mean, it's a lot of shit piled into one day. So, yeah.
So, what do you think about when? So we got the beginning of the movie, a little bit going forward. So she ends up going out with her. This was a weird thing, but I wouldn't say it's weird because I've had this relationship too with my brother's father's kids. Is that she goes to this party with her older brother's sister.
Yeah, I mean, and that was the piece that was messy for me because I'm like, why? Okay, why does he have to have a different dad? And why does his dad have to be Anthony Mackie, who's also the drug dealer that the dad took the rap for and went to prison? It was like way too much that seemed like
And his name is King, and the name of the gang is King Lords.
Yeah, I mean, that whole part was just like cheesy and juvenile. And it didn't add anything to the story for me. I mean, it was enough for him to have this tension with Anthony Mackie because he used to work for him. There were so many other ways that they could have created what I think they were trying to create, to not have to make the dad have this other child out of wedlock. And then it was before the parents even got got married. I don't know. Like, I'm still confused about that whole piece of the storyline and why it was even necessary. Like, I don't get it.
Why did you just say he had a kid when we got together?
Right.
Why,
Like,
I mean, like, I didn't understand, like, because the idea, it would have made it more compelling if that kid was after Star was born, and that she had to forgive, and there was tension between them within their love affair, that she took on a kid that wasn't her kid.
Sure.
That happened while they were together.
Sure, it still would have been unnecessary to.
You're saying period, that whole.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Like, that would have been like would have hit harder the point I think they were trying to drive with like the mom forgiving and all this stuff.
Yeah.
But it was still unnecessary to the overall story. But then again, I'm confused about what the point of the overall story was because there were so many pieces to it. And I don't know, maybe I just pissed off because I feel misled by the trailer. But
yeah, because I was really anticipating a lot with this. So she's at the party, she's kicking it, and then Ralph Tresvant shows up. Khalil, Ralph Tresvant shows up, and he was good in this movie. He was the second best person.
I thought he did a good job.
I'm mad they killed him. Like,
yeah.
Why? I don't even know what other role he could have played, but I was like, man, like, bring him back as a ghost or something. I mean, he was someone, but I'm saying like where he actually talked to her or something. I don't know. Like, he
Are you
needed
talking
more.
about in terms of acting or the character?
Acting.
Yeah. I didn't think anybody's acting was terrible. I think they all did the best they could with the material they were given.
We'll talk about that later with the script writer, but. So you think so overall your idea is this more of a script issue, not the acting issue?
It's a screenplay issue.
Screenplay issue, okay. Okay. So she's at the party kicking it. Then, she has this sneaker fiend thing. And Khalil is her best friend that shows back up. They've been friends for a long time. Now, even rewinding back, we find out that one of her friends got killed. That's why she ended up going to, I don't even know the name. I'm just calling it Winchester Academy, because of her friend being killed. Or something happening to her friend. We don't know, though, how her friend gets killed.
Yeah,
at that point, you don't know why her friend is getting killed. But her, Khalil, and this other friend, what was her name, Bianca or something? Like, the friend that got killed. I don't even know her friend.
I can't remember her name
Yeah,
either.
we'll go Bianca.
The name of the school is Williamson.
It's Williamson, okay.
Yeah.
Williamson sounds like, that's my daughter's school, Williamson. Sounds like a little bit.
You should be able to remember that.
Yeah, I know, right? No, my daughter's school is Wilkinson, not Williamson. That's why I didn't remember it.
Okay, anyway.
He talks to her, they're vibing, they've been friends for a long time. And the thing that was weird to me, like, they act like they hadn't seen nobody in a long time, but this was be like a small town.
Yeah.
How they act like they hadn't seen each other in this long? That was I don't
don't know. I mean, because that was something else that was kind of inconsistent. Because the grandma was like, she never left his side. They were friends forever. But then they act like they hadn't seen
each other in like 10 years since they basically they act like they hadn't seen each other since their friend was killed.
Right. That's the what's her name? No, her name wasn't Bianca. Was it Bianca?
Man,
No.
it might be on point with it. I think it might be on point. And they didn't talk about her. Like they didn't. That was weird to me. That you just. I mean, I guess. Because the town of Fremont, this is a fictional town, so it's not like this could be a big city. Maybe it is, but it seemed like he stayed in the area. It wasn't like because he still was taking care of his grandmother. He still was in the area. He was still around. For them to say they hadn't seen each other in like 10 years or something.
Her name
like
was Tasha.
Tasha, the little girl that got killed. Tasha. So them to say each other hadn't seen each other and like that was just weird to me. And there was this whole Of course, somebody had to shoot at the party. Oh no, the fight thing. What her trying to fight the other girl though? What do you think about that part with her sister? Like, I brought you here to help me fight. That
was I didn't get that. Like, why that was necessary? Unless they're just trying to show the difference. She's code switching. Yeah, but she wasn't because she didn't like. It's not like she accompanied her friend on. And she said
that you ain't been out in a minute.
Yeah, the only thing it showed to me was the difference between her and her friend. Unless like they were trying to say that she had changed since going to this school, but it's not like they did any flashbacks or anything to develop that. Because what I would have expected based on who her parents were and how like they raised them from the very beginning, with the dad like telling them what to do if they're pulled over by the police, that they probably conducted themselves with a little bit more sense than stepsister, whatever the hell she was. Yeah, I didn't get that either. Unless they're just trying to develop that character and show how ignorant she was.
This is a lot. This is this, and then she's trying to get her to help fight, and she's like, "No," which is of course that's what she would do and should do. So then somebody shoots at the party, and Khalil and Star ride out, they kicking it, they listening to Tupac, and then do you listen to that old stuff? I'm like, which make me feel old. And which is you listen to that old stuff, and he's like, oh no, he the truth. And then they had to give he had to spell out what thug life means, which is fine. That's for white people.
Not necessarily, because I think that this is a
young age. Yeah, you know what? I get you right.
Like,
so they don't know what thug life means or the idea of what Tupac was doing with that. That's true. The hate you give little infants fucks everyone is the acronym. And he broke it down for her, like how dope it was and all that. They stop. They reminisce over Harry Potter, the Harry Potter wands they all had, which becomes something whole another thing later on in the film with the Harry Potter wands.
Yeah, and I don't know Harry Potter, so I
appreciate. You
never
seen Harry Potter?
I've never seen Harry Potter. I've never read any of the books.
Oh wow!
I know.
You seem like you would like that type of shit, though.
Don't I?
Yeah, you do. I think I thought you would have had a wand and shit.
No.
I thought you would. I thought you when they pulled them out, and you were like, "I got one too." I thought that's what was going to be in your demo. Maybe maybe that's why you didn't like it, because you don't know about nothing about Harry Potter.
That's why I didn't like the movie.
Harry Potter's for the streets.
Oh, okay.
So the cops so they pause, then he pulls out, and supposedly he does two. I think it was a lane traffic stop, which I guess that's supposed to be a lane traffic stop reason, like him pulling out.
Yeah,
and crossing lanes.
That's not uncommon. Like this, I think this was the only scene in the whole movie that I liked.
Was when he dies. Ain't that about it?
No, and that's not why. It's just the only scene that I think it's kind of the only scene I came for, and I thought that that's what the movie was going to be about. I thought it was going to be an opportunity to have, I guess, the ideal circumstances of one of these shootings that actually makes people have some empathy. But despite that empathy, the outcome is still not what you want it to be. I knew from the beginning that the police officer was not going to be indicted. I knew that. I just thought it was going to tell a different story. And,
but he's a drug dealer too. He's a drug dealer for King, Anthony Mackie, all the stuff she finds out.
Yeah. So, and that's kind of where I thought the story was going to go. And I thought it was going to be focused more on the intimidation by the police to prevent her from testifying,
Or-
as
and-
opposed
or
to
the
all of these
activism.
other
Or the activism.
or the activism, like as opposed to all of this other shit that we can talk about in a minute, that I think completely loses focus, at least of what I thought the movie was going to be about. So this scene I appreciated because I think that I think Amanla performed it very well.
Yeah, she was fine.
And I mean, it showed the ridiculousness of what some of these police officers perceive as fear. So I thought that it told that piece of what I thought the movie was going to be about very well. Yeah, it was a bullshit ass traffic stop. It happens all the time.
Yeah.
You know, these are just two kids hanging
out,
having a conversation in the car. Neither of them were drunk. You know, he's asking a very simple question: why am I being pulled over? And he's met with disrespect immediately. She has a right to record. She's told to throw her phone on the floor. I mean, or, you know, to whatever. So I thought that this told what I thought the movie was going to be about very well. You know, and even like what was captured on the dash cam, you know, once he's shot and she gets out the car to help and he handcuffs her, you know, and sits her next to him on the ground while she just watches him die and he doesn't help him. Mm-hmm. So I thought like the movie was going to be, despite like the best factors you can have to indict a police officer for these bullshit ass shootings that are happening, and you still don't get justice. That's the story I thought was going to be told. And after this scene, it went downhill rapidly. Because I was bored up until this point. I was like, okay, finally.
Here we go.
This was the climax that I thought, and it was like, wrong.
And then we have the whole interrogation scene or whatever with her parents and all that. And we have Intercommon, who's a cop, we find out. But did we find it? I was confused. Is that her? Is that Regina Hall's brother? Or was it they were boys and like it was like a thing of like help take care of my family, like they're boys.
Yeah, I thought Regina was telling a story about when she and Common were sent to a private school too. So my understanding was that they were siblings.
Yeah, but then it was like in the book, like I was reading a book, it was saying that they were close friends or something. Mm-hmm. And you call your kid, you know, your kids may call somebody uncle such and such, but they're not
they're not actually blood related.
Yeah, so it was confusing. Like I need them to be like, hey sis, or something that signifies that relation within that context.
Well, I mean, it seemed like there was tension within the relationship because he was a police officer,
right.
And maybe that tension came more from her husband. So I wasn't that bothered by that part of it. I was bothered by him as a character.
It's more Common.
Yeah, but not by the relationship between.
Can we say that Common can't act? Is that okay?
He's done better jobs and other things.
Well, like what? I'd like to know what was
hang
better.
on, I need to. Hang on.
No, I mean, no disrespect. I love Common as an MC, but he's very deadpan when it comes to his acting.
Let me see. Whew. I don't even talk about Suicide Squad.
Oh, come on, man.
I don't remember hating him in Selma.
I mean, he's barely
Common's been in a lot of stuff.
No, he's been in a lot. That's what I'm saying. The best movie he's done was the movie Love. You ever seen Love?
No, I haven't.
Love is good, and that's his best role is in Love. Mm-hmm. Love is good. It's got Tyreek from Power.
You know, I think
it's the little kid, I believe.
Maybe I haven't been as bothered because he has never had like a major role in anything. It's not like he had a major role in this one, but he definitely had some heavy content and a lot of lines. Yeah. So maybe this was an opportunity to see that he's not the best, but I thought his character could have been a bigger piece of the story and he wasn't. So the fact that like Common's acting wasn't that great for this character didn't bother me because the character didn't end up adding anything anyway.
And people would probably ask like, well, so like, why does Common keep getting hired if he's a bad actor? He's probably great to work with.
Oh yeah,
he's probably gets on time to the set. He probably is like, you probably look at one actor like, man, they better, but they're gonna show up late. They're gonna give me problems. Fuck it, I'm gonna cast Common because he's gonna bring donuts. He gonna do all kind of stuff and everything to be like a great worker, like a great co-worker.
Yeah.
So you were like, man, he's gonna give us great energy, man. Mm-hmm. He only got like 20 lines. Fuck it, cast Common.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
He got one pivotal scene and he can do the rest. You know.
Yeah.
Give him that.
His acting didn't bother. I mean, it wasn't.
No, it didn't bother me.
It wasn't great at all, but it didn't bother me. nothing. It didn't bother me any more than a lot of other shit bothered me in this movie.
So, the interrogation scene is you as a lawyer. How do you feel about that? Considering my problem was that if her uncle is a cop, why didn't they automatically tell her to get a lawyer before they even went there to talk to her?
It's not. I don't know if she needed a lawyer. Like, that part didn't bother me because she wasn't being interrogated like as a suspect. Like, she's being questioned, based on what she witnessed.
But I would think in general, if something like that happened, I would get a lawyer off top.
I don't know.
If I'm being questioned for something that happened and where I can, like a cop kill somebody, I would just get a lawyer off the top. Like, I ain't saying nothing. Bring my lawyer. I'm on a lawyer.
I don't know. Why would you want a lawyer?
I don't know. I'm just scared of the police like that. But anytime that I can ask for a lawyer, I'm gonna ask for one.
Yeah, I guess full disclosure, I used to represent the police, but that does not mean I think I'm not part of the Blue Lives Matter group either. But I don't know. I kind of operate from the position of, if you don't have anything to feel guilty of,
fuck that,
or you
I don't believe that,
or you. I mean, because I'm not saying she didn't need protection. I think she needed protection when she was preparing for the grand jury testimony and when she was preparing for the interview with the media.
Mm-hmm.
And we can talk about that in a minute. But, with her parents there and everything, it didn't bother, well, to answer, it didn't bother me that she did not have an attorney. And I don't know if I was in that position, if I would immediately ask for an attorney. Because, I mean, there's nothing really that your attorney is going to add during the interrogation. Their job during that interrogation, make sure that you're
attorney. I'd like to have my attorney right here. Though, ask me whatever you want to. Then I can whisper in this. Even though I'm not even doing it, just whisper and just be like, yeah.
I would be more concerned that, like, in that type of incident, like if I was in a car with you and you got killed, and I need to, like, get out the story while my memory is fresh, I'd want to get it out as soon as possible. Not like, let me take some time and talk to my lawyer. Cause
no. I'm saying I just want the lawyer present in the room. I'll do it right then. I just need you or Dub or somebody in the room with me, like this right there. Like, hey, you can know we do it just like the like with the with Dave Chappelle on when he was in the congressional thing. Like, hey, hold on, man, before you ask that, come back here.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying.
Like, over, like I talk to you like, fifth. Like, fifth, like,
yeah, and I guess that's what I'm saying. Like, that would not be the first thing that came to my mind if I was in that sort of situation. To, like, make sure I have my attorney present.
I've always heard that if you're dealing with the cops in general, if you're in a situation that they have an attorney.
Yeah, I think if you're being interrogated as a suspect, yes, absolutely. But if you're being questioned as a witness,
okay. I'm gonna keep you. I may be calling you.
That's fine. I mean, I'll still
somebody
show
got
up.
Shot right in front of me.
I'll show up better than Issa Rae's character did as
somebody
an
got
attorney.
shot, Raven. I ain't do it, but they asked me about it. Can you come up here and just stand outside? Outside.
And I mean, maybe that's just me.
Yeah,
I'm not really answering that question from an attorney's perspective. I'm answering it more from, like, a personal.
Because every attorney I talked to said, "Yeah, you better call somebody."
No, I think if you were being interrogated as a suspect, absolutely 100%. But in this type of situation where it's important to get out. But
my thing is she a suspect because she got handcuffed though? I was wondering that. Well, did they maybe book her and then not book? Cause no, he's like she can go. I wonder if they was trying to book her. She was
not being questioned as a suspect at that point. They knew who killed this young man.
Right, but I'm saying like suspect for something. Remember, because they kept on asking, did he have drugs in the car? Was y'all messing? Like, I'm just saying, like.
Yeah, and that's them trying to build a case for the police officer as to the reasonableness of his fear. Because that's what it is. It's going to be a subjective review of whether or not he reasonably feared for his life. So they were trying to build that through her. But it wasn't, trying to build a case against her. But, fair enough. Like, if you think you need an attorney in that situation, I can see why. But I don't know. When it's an incident like that and it's important to get out what's fresh in your mind first, that would be my main focus.
See, the thing was, though, the difference between the book and this, we're going to her going back to school and not trying to tell people about how she was the witness. In the book, her family moves to the suburbs at some point. So she basically is coaching because she goes, it would have made more sense if their family had moved out of Fremont or whatever into a suburb.
Garden Heights.
No, I'm talking about that. Well, I guess the whole town is Fremont, but Garden Heights. Then they move into Winchester. I'm keeping going. Winchester Springs, and she would go back to the hood and hang out with her people still. That would be real code switching, or a form of seeing like she's still attached to her neighborhood. Because in the book, her mom got a better job and they moved out to the suburbs.
Yeah, she was working as a nurse.
So she would have been, a part of that lifestyle of those kids at Williamson, but still attached to where she came from, because they would have been later on in her life.
Well,
that would have been way more dynamic to me.
Maybe, but they still didn't develop the character in that way. I don't know if the character was developed that way in the book, but changing where they lived,
I think it would mean a lot more, because then, remember, I was like, oh, ain't you from there? But if she wasn't from there, they would have been like, you could have got a lot more maybe depth from those other characters, because they'd have been like, you don't even live there, why you care?
I don't know. It's a whole lot of unwritten scenes that would have to make.
So you said the cutting room floor has got a lot going on.
Yeah, I don't even want to see what's on the cutting room floor, because I didn't want to see what was on the screen.
Damn.
So
You said this is worse than The Nun.
I didn't say it was worse than The Nun. I said
you said it was worse than The Nun. There's look. I will.
I said it was one. I would put it up there with The Nun.
No.
Because
Teddy even texted me and was like, "Hey man, is it worse than The Nun?" Raven said it was the worst movie, and she said, "And I seen The Nun." That was your whole statement. And I've seen. It was like
I said it was one of the worst.
And I've seen The Nun, like on top of like another trump card, like. Yeah. And I've seen The Nun.
Yeah, no, I was just saying like that's how disappointed I was in this film. I was disappointed in The Nun. I was disappointed in this movie. They're two different kinds of disappointment, so I don't know if I can say one was worse than the other, but they both sucked.
Okay.
To me.
Yeah, that's not the best. So, snap. So, the chick that plays, do you watch The Deuce?
No.
Oh, you gotta watch The Deuce. The one that played his older sister, the sister that's supposed to be younger than him, seventh sister. Yo, she's like 30 years old. No, the
his other Anthony Mackie's other kid.
Yeah, she's like 30 years old. You know that, right?
No, I've never heard of this actress.
She's like 30 years old though. She plays a hooker on The Deuce. I was like, man, she can look familiar. Why is she older than all them by far?
So Kenya is the character's name. Actress is Dominique.
Yeah, but she's like damn near 30.
Yeah. Okay.
But like that was like miscasting, like to me, like because she looks so much older than them.
I thought she looked young, especially with that terrible lace front.
Here we go. I didn't know that as a man.
Who was the wig person for this movie?
Would that be wardrobe, right? That'd be wardrobe, right? Or costume?
I don't know. Whoever it was.
They might have to bring their own.
That's what it looked like.
Whatever you got. You got something? Okay, bring that. Bring that. Yeah, that'll work. Girl, you working it? Go ahead. Go ahead. Go on that set.
Anyway, so after the scene where Khalil gets shot in the police interrogation, all the way up to the funeral, I was like, okay, this is going where I thought it was going to go. That's where it ended for me.
The movie ended there.
That's where my enjoyment of the movie ended.
Wow, and that's at the midpoint of the movie. Basically.
Yeah, because I thought the next day, because I thought maybe it was going to follow, like, how something like this affects everybody. And, like, the next morning where she gets up and she's sick and her dad's trying to take care of her and, like, she's just so sick to her stomach about this, like that. Not that it had to be, like, a completely depressing movie the rest of the way, or it had to be, like, that sort of those tortured moments for the rest of the time. But I thought that... I don't know. I thought it was going to explore the impact a little more. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, oh, okay. So we had the funeral, but the wake was first, where she went to visit the grandma. But then the mom was like on TV, and her mom was like a drug addict. His mom was a drug addict, which is fine. But that happens all the time, though. They just find the mom. She could have been strung out, whatever, and she gonna wild out and do what the fuck she gonna do. Yeah. That's just that happens all the time. I mean, look at all the different memes with different things. Like I had to get out of there. What's the woman with the little shower cap on? That everybody's making fun of with like I was scared. I had to get up out of there. I forgot the name of y'all know listeners. Somebody will tell me this is black woman with a shower cap, and they even follow back up with her like, how's everything going on? I was scared. I had to get up out of there. I'm just telling y'all, we got a new home. We got everything.
You're not talking about ain't nobody got time for that, are you?
That's it.
Oh my god.
Is that, and yeah, what they got it was some burned up stuff like.
Yeah.
Then, yeah, that's it. Yeah, her. They did a
She's
thing up on
funny.
her.
I like her.
I'm just saying she ain't no I'm blind. I'm legally blind. What was that one with the little girl that was like, I'm legally blind. I need to find her and make sure she got out of jail.
Oh my god.
Put something on her books.
She said she wasn't driving the getaway car.
Yeah, I'm legally blind. But you looking right at me in my eye. So
how does this tie? Oh, people acting ignorant
Yeah.
on TV. Got it. Okay.
So I mean, and I mean that's fine. No, I was cool with that because that happens a lot with different in all these different cases or whatnot. But I don't want to sidebar too much. But I want to give a shout out to Jordan Davis. Is it Jordan Davis down in Florida that was killed by the dude at the gas station? His mom is running for Congress.
Oh wow.
In that district in Jacksonville, and she's like the leading in the polls right now. So I just like I forgot her name. I think it is Jordan Davis.
Isn't Michael Brown's mother running as well?
Yeah, she said she was running for like Ferguson mayor or something like that.
I
don't think it's on this or some. She's running for something, but Jordan Davis's mom is like in the hunt for Congress in Jacksonville area. So y'all support her, all y'all people down in Florida support Jordan Davis's mom. I just wanted to kind of throw that in there since they ain't throw a lot of activism for real in the movie. I wanted to at least throw something in there for this.
Yeah, Leslie McSpadden.
Leslie McSpadden. That's his mom's name.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's more from that's
Michael
Mike Brown's
mother.
mom.
I'm sorry. She's running for office in Ferguson.
She's in Ferguson. Ferguson's way bigger than people understand too. It's a big district and area. But so moving forward with the movie, this idea of her hiding who she was, and so King picks up her and her not even half sister, her brother's sister. He don't hang with them as much as she hang with them more than he do. I guess because they closer in age, maybe. But the woman that plays that is 30, so I'm confused.
I don't know. That's so irrelevant. Let's keep going.
But so Anthony Mackie, I like Anthony Mackie. A lot of people don't like Anthony Mackie. I like Anthony Mackie as actor. I think he's good. She Hate Me is a classic movie that is underappreciated as a film.
He's tolerable.
What? Let's explore this for a second then. So you have a problem with Anthony Mackie as an actor?
No, I said he's tolerable. I don't think he's fantastic.
More than tolerable. I didn't say he's fantastic, but he's good.
He's fine. He's fine. I mean, I don't dislike him.
He went to Juilliard. At least give him the prize. He went to Juilliard.
That's great. But we're talking about his acting in these movies that I've seen him in.
Okay,
right?
so what is bad he's been in?
I didn't say anything was bad. I said he was fine. He's tolerable. But he's one of those people like, God.
So is he the new Omar Epps?
No, I think Omar Epps is better.
Really?
He's just kind of like your neutral black actor. Like there's not a whole lot of depth to him. Like I've never seen anything where I was like, oh my God, Anthony Mackie was great.
I thought he was good as She Hate Me.
He was fine. It's like you played the role.
Have you seen the movie The Night Is Us?
No.
With him and Kerry Washington? Where he's like a ex-Black Panther and like it's a pretty good joint.
No. So and this movie is just kind of an example of my opinion of him, where it's like you read your lines, you did what you were supposed to do.
This is a check for him though, because he couldn't have read the script and be like, yo, this is really something I want to really do. This in between the Avengers and shit though, like man, I got 2 weeks out. I'm gonna give me a check
movie where I thought he was just
you know
fine.
what? And this makes sense because they're filmed in Atlanta. This movie's filmed in Atlanta. He's like, I can leave that set and go get me a check right down the street.
Oh my goodness!
I can go from Falcon to King.
Okay, let's keep going.
So, what do you think of his relationship? And he was like, you gotta let it go. You just gotta let it. And it was like, it was so self-serving. It was so obviously self-serving of a statement.
Yeah.
It wasn't like he was looking out for her.
Okay, so this is another place where the movie pissed me off that we've talked about. Because now, why are we focused on gang violence as a part of this story? I understand it is a part of the story sometimes, but as a part of this movie, why is this now the focus? I feel like this is where the movie derailed for me to an All Lives Matter, Blue Lives Matter storyline. And it was irritating. One, because I didn't think it served what I thought was the original focus of the movie, and two, it didn't make sense. Like, it wasn't played out in a way that made sense at all. So, I mean, and it starts with, Issa Rae coming to the funeral as an activist and talking about getting justice for Khalil, to her showing up at Star's home and saying, this is a case that's going to be played out in the media. Let's make sure you're prepared.
Well, no. We got to find out. She found out that she was the witness from the mother.
That's fine. We're past that. Let's move past that. We don't need to like give the audience like a play-by-play of the whole movie. Let's kind of cover the highlights. So what I'm trying to tie into is the whole Anthony Mackie issue and why I hated this whole gang violence thing. But so anyway, so Issa Rae comes in and talks about this case is going to be played out in the media, but then does not prepare her at all for this interview. And she goes in and she's talking about how, they played Harry Potter together. And, I understand like she's trying to give him some humanity. But the minute the reporter started asking questions about his drug dealing, I don't know why she was not prepared to say that's not what this is about. And why the focus of that interview was not about what happened and what that police officer...
She tried to amp it up like, well, his grandma was sick and... his mom is on drugs and he's trying to...
I would have been like the very first thing, like as an attorney, as an activist, whatever, I would have said, do not talk about that. That's irrelevant. He is not the person that is on trial here. It is this police officer. The whole focus of your interview needs to be about what you saw that night and what led to his murder. That's what you need to be talking about and what you need to be focused on. So... it's no wonder that the man wasn't indicted the way she was prepared and for this media interview. But anyway, so then she goes on national television and discloses a bunch of irrelevant information that does not help her friend get justice at all, and makes this story turn a complete 180 from what I thought it was supposed to be about.
Shows that he's the worst drug dealer ever.
Right. And she's
history.
like, why, you're going to go on national television, one, like admit that your friend was a drug dealer and then disclose who he was working for. And then Anthony Mackie's character, in an unrealistic way, like responds with putting himself on blast. Like, yep, that's me. That's who they were talking about.
No, but they said the gang, which is stupid that the gang is named after him. It was the King Lords. And then she said, yeah, he sold drugs for the King Lords. Okay. And he was like, oh, they gonna find out about me. I'm sure they know about you. The feds know who you are.
Right.
You this high and you done got this high. I'm sure the feds know who you are. Number one. Number two, why are you even getting that down and dirty in general like that anymore, period? You supposed to be this high up in the game.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to touch any of this shit anyway.
Yeah, and maybe I would have been more okay with the story exploring the way that gang violence can be weaved into this whole issue, because, I mean, I think we all know that one of the few good things about all of this police murder is that it brings the black community together.
Yes.
And I would have liked to have seen a little bit more of that. And I think you could have still told the piece of how, gang violence plays its role in the whole experience without focusing only on that. That's what pissed me off, is that they didn't show like how black people come together and have a true message. They decided to go off and give this stupid ass story that wasn't told very well about how Anthony Mackie's character responds to being outed on TV.
Keep in mind, though, y'all, the only person that got arrested for a crime was Anthony Mackie. I'm just saying, they arrest the black man is the only one that gets arrested.
And dad.
Well, I'm talking about he got arrested and went to jail, quote unquote jail for
in
the
the
crime.
movie?
Yeah, in the movie.
Okay.
Because
I think I'd stop paying attention.
I'd rather it been corny. At least that maybe at one scene he come back and be like, man, I ain't even tripping no Star. They don't even know who I am for real. And he give her a hug or something like, I was tripping. Or something like cornies. I'd have rather had that instead of him going to these lengths that he went to try to silence her, supposedly.
Yeah.
I'd rather had it been a corny scene like that, like, you know what, Star, I was tripping. We all good. Gave her a hug, though, or like, hey, we gonna make it. You know, or he the one that come and save him. You know, some corny like that. I'd rather have been corny like that instead of the hate we give instead. You know, at the end. So
I just that's the part that seemed really irresponsible to me for this movie.
And then we let's go to lawyer mode here. So we talked about this and dispel this something we talked about with the grand jury thing that lawyer cannot go into the grand jury. Yeah.
So at first I was kind of irritated. Well, I was mad that Issa Rae, sought out this little girl to help her
and didn't protect her,
and then didn't protect her in this interview, didn't prepare her for the grand jury hearing. Now, since the grand jury hearings are private, Issa Rae would not have been in there, but she still could have prepared her better. The speech that she gave to the jury was ridiculous. I mean, if I'm on the grand jury, and I'm trying to decide whether or not to indict a police officer for murdering a child, I don't need to hear about y'all playing Harry Potter. That doesn't tell me shit about what actually happened that night.
And that was your first kiss.
Right. That did not help at all. So, what the hell did this lawyer prepare you to do? Okay, humanize him, because I think that's important.
But people care about the facts.
Why is, what actually happened that night? I mean, and maybe they thought they showed that enough to the audience, but it would have been nice to see, how is it conveyed to the jury, and how does the jury analyze that in conjunction with feeling empathy for this person because of race. And this kind of goes back to I think Common gave her some nuggets that could have prepared her for her testimony.
And then let's even go back for a second. The whole situation you talked about, and it just came to my mind when we were in the theater talking about it, when you were saying how when the situation, her dad getting messed with by the cops because King shows up while his family's eating dinner, and King shows up hey man, what's going on, your daughter?
Just blatantly in front of everybody.
What kind of drug deal is this that he's out here putting in work like this?
Yeah.
He's got a lot of time on his hands. Why is he putting in work?
Yeah, this is another place where I thought, okay, they're going to get the storyline back on track.
Because because the cops was
the cops show up and they break up this fight and start intimidating the dad, and then she starts recording, and then they acknowledge, that's the girl, that's the witness. I thought, okay, well, this can be a place where they can use this police intimidation.
But see, I wouldn't even thought about that. So you said the police intimidation, they could use that, and they didn't use it.
Well, I mean, I don't think they were genuinely trying to intimidate her.
But you could have used that as a lawyer,
I'm just saying, sure, but I'm talking about for the way this story is told.
Right.
I that's where I thought that this was gonna go. Is you see the power we have. Right now we can arrest your yeah. So that's where I thought it was gonna go, but then once again fell flat.
So then we go past the grand jury. They then is it the prom next or no? She finds out that he didn't get indicted, right?
No, the prom was before that.
Right. Oh, yeah. Okay.
So, no, before the prom, though, is the whole walkout that the kids were going to do to boycott, as part of protest, even though that
whole storyline with Haley or whatever.
Yeah. So I actually did kind of appreciate that scene because it does show how sometimes people misappropriate another experience for their own benefit. They're not genuinely concerned about this young man. They just want to get out of school, and I think shit like that happens often, especially in politics. So I appreciated that part of the movie. I think that definitely gave some people, or should have given people, some perspective.
And the Haley thing, I guess she was always unlikable at the beginning, and I guess that she's supposed to be. That you would kind of see as an adult. That's why I said maybe teens would see this different and be like, oh, she had a heel change on her. She went different. But I knew she wasn't shit from the beginning.
I thought she was a realistic character.
Yeah.
I've had some Haleys in my life.
Really?
Yeah, I have.
I've never had a person I let get that close because I made her stomp them out.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't. I'm mainly thinking about my cheering days, and I kind of hope this girl listens to this podcast and hears this. But it was somebody I cheered with, and
this is with the Rams.
Yeah, and she was definitely not a kind person. I didn't. I mean, I didn't think she was the nicest person in the world, but I didn't know she was a racist. But there were different, like, subtle things she would throw out there that made me realize it. But the biggest one was when she used the N-word in front of me one time to describe somebody that had pissed her off. And she said, that fucking N-word. And so I was like, why would you?
Because I like to say the N-word. She said nigger or nigga with the A or the ER?
The ER.
Wow, like
the ER.
Did white people know they can maybe get away with it? Not necessarily get away. Like, we gonna stomp you out, but like you ain't gonna get the big stomp out. When you say the ER, it's like, oh, you.
Yeah, let me finish though, because I was like, why would you say something like that? I mean, especially since like we were in the company of a lot of people, and a lot of people who were white. And she sought me out to tell me this story. And I'm like, why would you say something like that to me? And she's like, I thought we were cool. And you're not all black anyway.
Oh, wow.
And
she pulled the you only 50. You only 50 black.
33%. Now that I got my 23andMe results, but whatever.
Oh, you got your ancestry?
Yeah, I did. I got my 23andMe results, but we don't talk about that.
So you only 33% black? Nobody would know that though. Listeners, go to her Instagram page. You'll never think that she's only 30% black. Trust me. I think culture appropriating some other culture right now.
Oh, whatever.
I don't know. I need to see these results.
Well, there's some 6% that's unidentified, so I'm gonna claim that too and just say 37%.
Okay, that's black.
Yeah.
You black.
Anyway, but yeah, no, she definitely pulled that on me and said, I didn't think that. Basically, like, why are you acting offended? And I thought you were cool. Like,
where's she from?
I want to say Belleville, Illinois, somewhere in southern Illinois. So yeah, no. So I've had some Haleys in my life, and that's just like one, like probably the most recent experience. So
that I can think of. So she came to you like directly.
She sought me out to tell me this story about how a black man had pissed her off, and she referred to him as the N-word.
So she didn't understand, like why that was a problem at all.
Right. Because I was a cool black person, and somebody that wasn't all black. So why can't I say this to you?
But she wanted to say it to a black person, but like, well, you ain't.
She just like, it wasn't that she wanted to say it to a black person. It was like to her it was the same thing as saying it to.
She wouldn't have said it to Tate though.
What?
You think she would have said it to Tate?
They don't know each other like that. So, okay. But she wouldn't. There was other darker skinned black people she didn't say it to.
Okay, that's my point. That's my point. I'm saying though. So yeah. She went off the because she a lighter girl.
So there was something about me that made her comfortable saying it. Wow. And she did get checked in that moment. And so this was a disappointment I had in Star's character, and maybe this was what they were trying to get at with code switching, but to me that's not code switching. That's just like not having good integrity or like not being
that's what I thought. I was like, code switching is not having that good. That's like,
just like you being weak. Like
acting like you like Sublime is like, that's code switching. Not saying that they call you a nigga is a different thing.
Yeah. But anyway, so Haley, I think, was a consistent character, and I know some Haleys. Yeah, and there are some people that just never get it. Like, even if you try to educate them, and the person that I was just talking about, I tried to address it in the moment. I tried to educate her in the moment, and she's one of those people that I think is just never going to get it. She's not around enough black people to change her opinion of them. So
she only hangs around white people. Basically, you're the only black person that she probably talked to.
I wouldn't say that, but because I wouldn't even say we were close friends like that. I think she perceived that we were closer than we were, but for what? And I don't know her life well enough to truly explain it. Only thing I can tell you is my perspective of her, and no matter what you say to her, she has her opinion, and that's how some Haleys are.
Wow, is she successful in general?
Let's move on.
No, I want to know if she's like horrible right now. Like, I want to know. I want to see her downfall.
I don't think she'll have a downfall.
Oh, she came up.
I think she's happy with her life. Let's move on.
Okay, but damn, she came up. Damn.
I wouldn't say that downfall either. Let's just move on.
Okay, I want to stalk her on Facebook and make up a whole another profile. But hey, bitch, is me.
Yeah, no, I'm not giving any names. But if she were to listen to this, she knows who she is.
Shout out to you, Haley Jr. since you're older. So after all this drama, it's more drama, y'all. This is not over.
Oh God, there's so many
we get
pieces.
so. I guess we go to the prom night.
Yeah, prom night.
Because he's not indicted. She finds out. Was it a phone call? No.
You talking about okay? Are you talking about prom night? Or are you going to talk about she found out that he was not indicted?
When did she find out he was indicted? Was it after the prom?
After prom.
Okay, let's go to the prom night. The prom night is way more.
Yeah.
The weekend is. She finds out after the prom. This prom night is the longest prom night. This is a key point in this movie where this white Superman comes into play.
There was definitely way too much time spent on this scene.
So she comes to the prom. Number one, I have a daughter. I wouldn't let her go out no prom, no man. Look, with no fucking Jordans.
Xander can't go. In Jordans. So
I wouldn't let that happen.
Let me just say something.
And I was like, look, I would love it if she really like it. But I'd be like, come on, sweetheart. Like this is like, you ain't gonna never see. This is gonna be one time experience.
I don't know. Let people wear what they want to wear. Is how I feel. But let me say something real quick. So I've been looking at a lot of people's posts and opinions about this movie on Facebook. One of the funniest ones was from my friend Latique. She said, "I liked Star's prom outfit." The end. Like that's the only thing she liked about the movie.
That was the only thing she liked.
Yes. So there's some people that liked it. And she's a kid, and that's what she likes. And
that's really. You make a good point. That's a good point.
No, it was but I to go back to what you were talking about, the white savior. When I initially saw the trailer, I didn't know she was going to have a white boyfriend, and the fact that she did actually, I thought could have added a more interesting dynamic to the movie.
Keep in mind, folks, I'm not trying to say you white. They say this is the way they set it up.
Yeah, it was but it didn't. It never like added to the story. Like I don't understand like how. Well, maybe I'm just different now, but how you even have a relationship with somebody that doesn't know like some of these intimate moments in experiences for your life.
Like they supposed to been together for years or something, and like
I don't know how long they were supposed to be together.
Never met his parents, and then like my thing is I didn't know people didn't like. At first, we didn't know people knew if she lived there or not.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there just wasn't a whole lot of development of that story, like how their relationship came about, how long they'd been together, what she knew about him. It was just kind of like, we've been together, this is my boo. He tried to have sex with me, I wasn't ready, but he doesn't know any of this stuff about my life. So prom night, it seems like is the time that she's finally disclosing to him all of these other pieces to her. And it's not the fact that he was immediately accepting of it, because I think they at least developed the character up to that point to show that like he really cared about her and he really wanted to know her. He really wanted to be part of her life. So that's not the savior piece that bothered me. It was the rest of the story with the riot, where it was just kind of like, wait, how did we get here?
It's a savior thing. That dude did a lot.
He did, but it didn't make sense. Like it was forced. It was very forced. So it's like, if you're gonna make him. It was not necessary to make him the white savior. Just make him the accepting boyfriend.
Like I got your back. What you need.
Yeah.
I got you. He was just like.
Or show an interesting conversation between them about all of this. Like when she was telling him, like even the conversation they had, in my opinion, didn't really. It wasn't that interesting. It wasn't compelling.
But the realest scene though is with the prom night after they come back from prom though to meet
the dad.
And he tried to tip him.
That's
what I would have did. That's what I kept saying. Like I would have did the same thing.
And I
mean, good looking though, my G.
Yeah, that was like an area I think where they tried to add like a comedic moment. So that was fine. But even that was like, we're about to have a slight climax and then it's gonna fall flat, because his reaction. I couldn't tell if he was more upset because she had a boyfriend and he didn't know about it, or he was more upset that he was white. But to me at that point, it was like, please don't throw any more shit in this movie.
Yeah.
Like,
this don't make that. And he was like, it's all good. And I was like, thank you.
Yeah, like
we don't need no more dynamics.
Like, let it go.
We already 3/4 damn near. We coming down the home stretch. We
damn near like 80%
please. Of this movie. Just stop it. Like, just stop it. Then the dad thing. That's what I'm saying. Like the dad. With them, so then was it the next day? Was it that night that they shot up the crib? That was at night. It was that
same night. Yeah,
like,
after he
come
left.
On, how late is this going on?
Yeah, the prom night was definitely. And he was like, "We're going to get some burgers afterwards." I'm like, "What?"
They never showed the burgers.
Did they ever get that burgers?
She's still hungry. She's still hungry right now. She ain't eating nothing.
My gosh.
Last meal she had, she got interrupted by the cops.
Yeah.
That we saw. That was the last meal we saw.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, so he shot. So King shoots at the crib on the prom night. a part of me thought, I'm thinking back though, he's probably like somebody saw that he had this big ass limo outside front of the house. They got this big ass stretch escalator in front of the house. So yeah, maybe it is them doing something. Though, let's shoot up the house.
I don't know. That was just hell of a lot more drama. So then I can't remember if this is the scene before it is the scene, but I think before she gives her grand jury testimony, because she has that moment with Common. And this is what I was going to talk about earlier.
No, the grand jury thing already happened. The scene with Common is after they shoot up. And then remember they had to go to the house.
But she had the conversation with Common before she gave her grand jury testimony.
Right, because she left school after the protest. After the fake protest, she said, "I need somebody to pick me up."
Right. Okay. So that's when she had, because I just want to talk about the conversation she had with Common, whether it was after the faux protest by the white kids,
it don't matter,
or
this movie's
after the shooting. But she talks to Common about why police officers are shooting black people, and so Common gives this whole scenario of you don't know what the person has in the car, you don't know what they're reaching for, like we're already operating from a state of fear. There's a young lady in the car, is she safe? And I thought that was a thoughtful scenario of what police officers may be thinking when they make these decisions. And then she says, okay, in that scenario, if the person is black, you're shooting. What if they're white? And he said, I would tell them to put their hands up, or give them some other warning before I just shoot. And that was a really compelling moment that reminded me of when A Time to Kill, when Samuel L. Jackson is trying to tell Matthew McConaughey how to get the jury to empathize with this black father who has killed his daughter's white rapists. And so I'm thinking, she's really bothered by what Common has just said. She's getting ready to give her grand jury testimony. She's going to take that and try to give some empathy to the jury.
That's right. That was right before that.
And it didn't happen. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
Common did all his best acting he had for no reason.
And maybe I'm just pissed off, again, because the movie isn't what I thought it was going to be. So maybe I'm being overly critical, because at least the audience heard this stuff, and hopefully they're putting it together better than I think that it was.
That was the white person guilt area. It's like,
yeah, right. So I'm hoping the audience gets it. Even though I don't think it rounded out the story the way that it should have, at least those pieces were given to the audience to discuss.
So the prom night from hell shot up. Her daddy has to check homeboy, so they go to Common's crib. They stay there tonight. No, so the grand jury testimony was after her shooting. Was after so the prom night, the grand jury thing was after the prom.
I thought so, but I don't know. It doesn't matter.
It is, because he was trying to shoot up the thing before she did the grand jury testimony. So she rides out on a bike though, and all of a sudden she goes straight into the bad transition. She rides on a bike. We thought she was just riding maybe back to see her boyfriend, or back to the hood, or back to a protest. I thought maybe in her mind, and they go straight into the grand jury scene. Remember, they go straight into that scene. Yeah, of them walking into the building.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah, it's going straight into that building, and then I'm like, okay. Then so the grand jury testimony, she goes in there, she does her humanizing of Khalil. Khalil's sitting there in a chair looking like Ralph Tresvant, ready to send sensitivity, because his ghost is sitting there nodding his head. And
it was the worst testimony ever.
But you also admitted though, let's be fair, you said that they may have had a longer thing, and they were trying to show the humanistic side.
Maybe,
because they showed so much more before. Let's give them credit for that.
Yeah, so we'll just pretend that she recited to the jury what actually happened that night.
And then she tried to humanize him after that.
Yeah.
So then King ain't done. King is just starting. Because her daddy went back to stay with his son. And we gonna sit down the fort.
Yeah.
Then King don't come to school, but we didn't know.
7 didn't come to school.
King 7. These names are all interchangeable at this point.
I just want to be clear.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. No, you're right.
So I think that there's another important scene that you might be getting ready to skip over here. So Star is at school, and Haley comes up to her and is like, "You still not over this shit or whatever?" Because they'd previously gotten into an argument back
at her house. Right?
It was either at her house or the racially ambiguous girl's house, where Star wants to watch the interview that she did with the horrible interview that she did with the media. And Haley made some sort of reference, I guess, to him being a drug dealer or somewhat, I guess, deserving to be shot. And so fast forward. He would have died
anyway. It was something like that.
Yeah, he would have died anyway. He was dealing drugs. Very insensitive bitch. But fast forward, now Star is at school. For whatever reason, Seven is not at school. And Haley comes up to her and says, "You're not over this yet." And she has this interchange with her where she takes her brush and was like, "What does this look? Does it look like a gun?" And, does this sort of attack on her. And
boom,
Haley starts crying.
Boom, yeah.
That was silly. I get what they were trying to do, but it could have just been written better.
Yeah, I mean, why don't you just hit it with the brush? That'd have been better.
No.
No, I'm saying it been no. The reason I say that is because she'd be like, it was a brush. Bink. Mm-hmm. And it been all good. Yeah. Hitting people with brushes is good to go, man. I got a bully off me.
I hit somebody with a brush one time.
Oh, I hit him with the old school brush. The same brush that Khalil had. Hit a dude on my football team my freshman year with a brush.
How do you do that? That doesn't even have a handle on it. You threw it?
Threw it. Yeah. Oh, it was the best throw I've ever had in my life.
Okay.
He was gleeping on me.
So anyway, Star storms off, and then Chris, her boyfriend, whose fingernails are dirty, by the way. I don't understand.
You kept the whole movie. Did we first see that in the prom scene?
We first saw it in the prom scene. I don't understand how you act in a movie and like your fingernails are dirty. That really bothers me.
Like, I'm gonna pay the extra $50 to get my shit buffed.
That's also like one of my biggest pet peeves, because if you have dirty fingernails, that means you probably don't wash your hands. But anyway,
that's real.
Chris chases after her and she explains why she's pissed off, and they go on this drive. And while on this drive, I guess she gets a call from Seven's mom. Is that right? Or no, from the sister.
From the sister.
From his
from the 30-year-old
sister saying
the
30-year-old sister, because you stuck on that. She's like, King beat up Seven, blah blah blah. So they go over to the house. They pick him up. At first, the drunk mom is
white
like,
super nigga happens.
Oh my god!
This dude is. Keep in mind, this is all within a weekend.
I'm surprised he was with her.
In my mind, that the prom was on Saturday. This is on Monday.
Right. I think you might be right. Like, I really think you might be right. It was so quick. Like, and if Chris decided to like be done at that point, I wouldn't blame him. Race issues aside, you got too much fucking drama.
If I'm 7 and you get there like, man, Chris, what are you doing here, man? You could do so much better than this hood shit that you dealing with. You are a good white man. Just leave, man. You good white folk. Leave, man.
Oh my goodness. So, shout out to Chris for sticking with it. And to the actor, I can't remember his name, but I guess he plays on Riverdale and replaced Key Lawley, who was previously supposed to play Chris, but was written out of the story, and his scenes were refilmed for making racial slurs.
They refilmed his scenes?
Yeah. He had filmed his scenes.
So wow.
Yeah. And
they scrapped that makes sense scenes a little bit then.
I don't know if it does. But
no, I'm saying because of just some of those scenes can destroy their chemistry. Seemed horrible.
I don't know if it's. I wouldn't have changed the movie for me.
Right. You said everything is. You said it wouldn't matter.
The writing was horrible. Was horrible.
It's nothing.
But anyway, so Chris goes in, saves the day with Seven. But first the mom is like, get y'all asses out of my house, and she's being drunk and disrespectful. And then King tries to come back, and she helps them escape. So anyway,
I guess that's her form of redemption.
Maybe.
No, but she was like, oh, motherfucker, you here? Like, she was on some like, you here?
Yeah.
I'm like,
trying to redeem herself within the same scene where she just acted like an asshole. But anyway, then they go on this drive to try to get him to the hospital. Instead of going to the hospital,
we got to go back
where
to a scene we missed with Star talking to her mom about her brother being born. We said that we were going to talk about that.
I don't know if I want to talk about it. What, I can't remember
about the whole thing of like. We kind
of covered it. How it was messy.
Yeah, but we didn't really. So Star asked her mother, "Yo, like, what did you do when Daddy has 7?" Mm-hmm. So we like, oh shit, we finna find out some real tea. Mm-hmm. We were broken up at the time, and it was all good. Then we find out that he was older, so they broke up. He had a kid with somebody else and then got back with you.
Yeah, so there really wasn't a whole lot of forgiveness, I guess, that needed to happen.
I mean, or less forgiveness than we thought originally.
Right, yeah, it makes the dad not seem as bad as he originally seemed. But with the mom, how it tied into the rest of the story is Star was asking whether or not she should forgive Haley. And the mom basically says it depends on basically what value that person is adding to your life. Mm-hmm. And if
she said she didn't like her because her mom didn't like her, never liked her.
Yeah, she's like, I never liked her in the first place. Seemed like they might have always been beefing about something anyway.
And she said that she said that you did everything she wanted to do.
Yeah,
with the
like
purple hair and all that stuff.
Yeah, that she was a follower and. Yeah, so maybe
we didn't get to see her being a follower like that.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That little bitty seemed to explain the code switching more than like what they showed. So anyway, yeah. So I think that is a good message that just because like this is the popular girl or even somebody you've been friends with forever. Sometimes friendships run their course.
Look, you got a friend, your friend I met, we was all together. Mm-hmm. You're not friends with her no more.
Right.
That is what it is. Why you look at me like I'm like, I ain't saying nobody's name on here. Come on, man. Uh-huh. But you know what I mean, though?
Yeah. You have to realize when people are just like bad spirits and they need to be gone. So that was a fine message.
Yeah. I'll tell you some other stuff off the air.
Okay.
You all uncomfortable now and shit though? Because I was gonna get real crazy though for a second.
Oh, trust me, I am not uncomfortable.
Well, I can go there on the air.
We don't have to. I'm suggesting we don't go there on the air, but it's not because I'm uncomfortable.
Okay, all right. I was just saying, you just that open. Let's do it.
No, we don't need to be talking about other people's business.
So after, I was gonna do that too though. Uh-huh. But so then Seven and her, they skirt out with White Jesus. Uh-huh. In his Range Rover, which is like his little small chariot, and they try to take Seven to the hospital, and they roll up on the protest because they find out.
That's when they find it. Yeah,
she
it was
finds out on the way there.
Yeah,
right?
It was like he looked at it on his phone, like it popped up on his phone. Yeah.
And then so they get caught in traffic. And she just gets out like, I gotta do it.
Yeah, now you want to act strong.
Whoa.
Now that you can't do shit.
I started looking at the clock, though. I was like, we only got 10 minutes left, though. What are we doing right now? We got 10 minutes left in this movie. We just got to the activism?
Right. Now let's rush this whole riot scene and, like, not address, like, how that all came together.
Yo, and then they co-opted some shit, though, man. I took personal. They co-opted the brother. Rest in peace to him, though, man, with the dude in St. Louis that was wearing the American flag. Tank top, and he had on the bandana, and he threw the canister back. It's a classic picture if y'all see it. And she redid it. Like she gonna throw it back.
Yeah. It wasn't original, and then they just didn't. Like that's a piece where they could have showed like how the community comes together. That's
where Anthony Mackie should show up at King and being like, it's all good. We good. We riding with you though. You ain't dying me out for real.
Yeah.
Wink, wink. It's all good.
Right.
No. It ain't over, though, after all the drama with all the riots and all that.
So we go through this rushed riot, and
this neighborhood is way bigger than I thought it was, though, because it took them so random people picked them up because they can't see from the tear gas. And they rolled for a minute. It looked like some nice amount of blocks. This riot is a big riot. Because I thought it was downtown. They were downtown. They rode all the way to her dad's store area to get some milk to throw in everybody's eyes. I thought that was nice.
Because there was nowhere else to get milk.
Nowhere. There was nowhere else but 2-3 miles. This is a big riot. It's 3-mile riot. Y'all, no, y'all probably like, you can't be serious. No, it's a 3-mile riot because they were riding around for a minute to get to the store. They get there, they get the milk in, and they're facing all that. It was just it was a motley crew of protesters. An Asian brother, a white brother, and 2 black dudes. And then they were all, keep in mind the Asian brother and the white brother just jumped in the back of the truck randomly after Seven and Star did. And it's like, can you help us? Cool. They rolled over there, got their milk, get their stuff together. And then he was like, y'all, okay, cool. And they all jumped in the truck together though, like, we all good. Like, let's go back out. Like, we going to fight. Like, we going back out to fight.
Yeah.
Like, And then King is standing there.
Yeah, now let me take this opportunity
Go ahead.
to blow
You
up
take
this
it.
store. Oh my gosh.
Take it.
In front, and like,
Let me get my
just
John
like out
Singleton
in.
moment. I'll let you have more of this. Let me get my John Singleton
That's
moment.
fine. You can have it because that's where I put my purse on to leave. Yeah. So then they throw the, what are they called? Cocktails. I can't remember.
Molotov cocktail.
Thank you. So set the store on fire with Seven and Star on the inside, ready to die until the man with the worst limp in the world tries to help them escape. Dad somehow shows up, saves the day, which is fine, but he has Sakani in the car. Mom is there too, right?
No, Mom comes later on.
Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. Has Sakani in the car, and apparently, at some point, he's pulled Dad's gun out of his waistband, and there's this confrontation between King and the dad, and
the police.
And the police show
pull
up
too.
because where are they? Like responding to anything else in the riot?
My thing is, why the police there though? Is 3 miles away though. Downtown is burning up too though.
Like,
why are you? Like,
right.
I appreciate the police being in the hood, but I'm just saying there's a lot more problems going on down by the Capitol.
Yeah.
Why are you here?
But they're conveniently there, and now you can have your John Singleton moment.
So then, it's this big like Mexican standoff. If anybody know Mexican stuff? It's a small quarter.
Everybody knows what a Mexican standoff is.
Some people don't know. You have to explain to some people what a Mexican standoff is.
Dude, this podcast is already long. Move on.
If we finna wrap it up.
Okay.
Come on, man.
Sorry, I'm tired. I hate this movie that much.
Black Klansman was longer than this.
I know. My mood right now is like representative of how I felt in the movie. Like, can we please just get this shit over with so I can go home?
So that's how you feel about this podcast. Like, look, can we just get this
right.
over?
I don't even want to talk about the hate you give ever again. Sorry, go ahead.
So it's a mix of stuff. Everybody got the guns, the cops, the son, King, everybody got guns pointing at each other. And then Star goes, I realized at that point that it's not the hate you give, it's the hate we give. And she slowly walks over though and stands in front of her brother with the gun, and then everything is all as well.
Everybody looks at themselves as if they've just had this,
just like a John Singleton
moment.
movie from '92. If y'all seen Boys in the Hood, if they don't know, they don't show. I'm messing up. Either they don't know, they don't show, or they don't care about what's going on in the hood.
Message.
Yeah, exactly. I was ready for somebody to come out and be like, "Hey, man, that's a message right there." And then King gets arrested. He's the worst dope dealer ever. I don't know why he didn't get arrested like 10 years before this.
Yeah, if he was like showing out like he was at this.
Yeah. And then she gets back with her bae. Khalil is just out there still dead. Nobody cares about him no more. Nobody even, go to visit his gravestone or nothing. Mm-hmm. Now, it'd have been worse if she took the white boy to his gravestone though. I was thinking about that. I was like, that'd been worse. This my new man, Khalil. The one I was talking about in the car.
God.
So, let me ask you this: as a woman, the Regina Hall character, before we get out of it, what do you think about her character?
She annoyed me. She annoyed me greatly. I understand she was trying to protect her daughter, and I understand that she wanted to make sure she was focused on her education, but I have a hard time believing that this is a woman who was married and in love with a man who was as militant as he was, and for her to think that her daughter should have done nothing in this situation. That just seemed kind of inconsistent with the character.
Or would you think that was going to happen? Like,
right.
I already know he didn't train them up this way. Because they're doing a Black Panther 10-point program. They're doing all that.
Yeah. So it's like, how did you not expect this?
Did you change your score at the end of this review?
I absolutely did not.
Did you go down? You didn't go down. You didn't go up.
It's this. I still give it a 2, and that's only because I appreciate the perspective that it gave people, and I think it's a great conversation starter. I never expected there to be a happy ending, but I expected them to do a lot better with the content. And I did not like the screenplay. Audrey Wells, who did the screenplay.
Let's talk about how you said that you knew it was a white woman that wrote the screenplay.
And I say that not having read the book. So maybe the book was already like this.
Well, no, I read the synopsis.
I understand you read the synopsis of the book, but that's still not reading the book. So I don't know if the screenplay was that far off from Angie Thomas, who's the author. I'm not sure if Audrey Wells went that far off from Angie Thomas's story. But I could tell that it was written to make it palatable for a white audience. It kind of turned into a Blue Lives Matter, All Lives Matter story. That's not to say that it just should have been a Black Lives Matter story, but I just think that there was some important content here that could have been respected better.
Because honestly, this is the first movie post Ferguson.
I don't know. I think Detroit was post Ferguson.
It's modernized. Film,
okay, fair enough.
Or anything like
it's
post Ferguson.
It's the only one that I'm aware of. That's been like on the big screen.
There might be some on Amazon that we ain't found.
Especially since you know about all of these random black movies on Amazon.
Hey, no, the street's been asking us to do Plug Love though at some point.
Oh my
we got 3 emails about that.
I will watch Plug Love whenever.
Well, we're gonna do something else. I'm gonna let Raven choose the next movie.
Yeah,
it's her choice. Would you like to tell anybody, or you want to keep people surprised?
I haven't decided yet.
Raven's choosing the next movie.
Yeah, I'll pick the next movie. I'm just not sure what it'll be yet. But yeah, no. Rest in peace to Audrey Wells, though. She was the author of the screenplay, and she passed away I think the day before the movie was released.
So she died Wednesday when we went on Thursday.
No, she passed away on October 4th. So before it hit the big screen in other major cities. And looking at some of her other work, because she also did A Dog's Purpose, Game Plan, with The Rock. Georgia the Jungle and Truth About Cats and Dogs. Like, these are all kind of feel-good movies.
So why did they have her doing this?
Right. So it just kind of.
So this is the only drama she's done.
Yeah. From what I know of the movies that I've seen that she's done the screenplays.
Wow.
For. So this seemed to be kind of different material for her. And she passed away of cancer.
And everything during the whole thing.
Or? Yeah, I mean, she was sick. I don't know, but
it was a joke.
That wasn't a good one. Let's just pretend like you didn't make that joke.
That's true. All right, good point. No, you just good one. That was a bad one.
So I could see that she was trying to put some of that sort of feel good messaging in this, and this is not feel good content. They end this movie with them, planting trees in the yard, and
a white babe coming over.
Right. So I don't know. It just didn't hit for me.
Man, no, he did and look, man. Shout out to Alec, man. Like I said, my Alec listens to the podcast. I love you, man. You know you ain't do all this. I took you a lot of seedy places, and you be like, hey, so what you want to do? Like, that was his whole thing. Like, I'm talking about in Chicago, St. Louis. We've been to Vegas, all kind of shit, man. And he been everywhere, man. He's from U City, so he understands. But then I'm not gonna have him in the middle of the paint like that. And she had him in the middle of the paint like that.
I don't have a problem with that. I mean, I feel like we are often in the middle of white paint.
Yes.
So,
but if I love you, I wouldn't put you in the paint.
I would. I absolutely do.
No. This was a whole day. Did you see that whole night that happened? People shooting up. They doing all kind of stuff at one night.
Daryl, I mean, you know me too. You've seen me bring some of my friends,
we've been checking them.
Yeah, now you see me bring some of my friends and people I've dated who are of a different race to some of our
shout
events.
Shout to your one date that came through for the Game of Thrones watch night, and then he came through and it wasn't the Game of Watch that he thought it was going to be. It was a lot more colorful than he thought it was going to be.
No, I feel like we're so often the only people of color at white shit.
No one's time to flip it on.
Yeah, like I'm not, and I try, and I don't even say anything about it. I'm like, I'm just going to bring you.
No.
So you can see what.
But there's some dangerous areas you won't put them in though. Look, you gonna take him to Po' Boys?
I'm not going to Po' Boys.
But I'll go to sometime. Give me a little sandwich.
I don't even know what that is.
Exactly, you don't. You halfway bougie yourself though, so that's why
I'm not all the way bougie.
But that's why you don't understand what I'm saying with certain spots. Though you be like, I wouldn't take my wife to certain spots in general. I'm gonna grab some sandwiches.
That's fair enough. I'm just saying I am not going to avoid taking them places because of race.
Hey, race, I'm talking about danger.
Well, I don't go to no dangerous places.
Like it's like taking me around a Ku Klux Klan rally and being like,
well, they don't need to be there in the first place.
Right, and also around it. I'm saying like if there's a farm that you live in and you know that they burning crosses down the hall a little bit or down the street, I don't need that.
See, and I've gone home like with my white friends from college. Like one of them lived near Martinsville, Indiana, which is a heavily KKK.
I wouldn't go with you.
Yeah.
Don't tell me. Don't let me be there.
Yeah.
I don't want that.
Yeah.
It's like me bringing you around, right? Hey, man, dude, they gangbang right there.
Uh-huh.
You see right there in the corner?
Yeah. I mean, those are two different things. Like, taking somebody in a dangerous situation and then, like, having them just around.
Do you think what Star was doing?
Yeah, I mean, Star
was doing that.
But, okay, you're talking about a riot, though. Like, there are other white people at this riot.
Right, no. Think about his nights. He got shot at. All that different stuff was going on.
When did he get shot at? Chris didn't get shot at.
That was at prom night.
He was not there. He had left.
Oh, he did leave. I thought he was there. Okay, well, I'll take it back then. He ain't a white knight then.
But, I mean, I guess he could have been there. But still, to my point, I would not keep them from coming to my home. Like,
No. I'm not saying that. Mm-hmm. But, like, I talk about, if you listen to RB and RM podcast with me and Matt, mm-hmm. There was a brother that brought a white woman into the den of thieves. And did he understand that he put her in a precarious situation?
Uh-huh.
If I ever dated a white woman, I would never take her to that kind of show.
That's fair enough.
Shout out to one of my friends. He told me that he didn't take his wife to see Black Panther on opening weekend because she's white and he didn't want them problems. That's what I'm talking about. And
that's what I'm talking about too, because that is, I would have them up there.
Not with all them people with African garb on. And look, Listen, the guy I'm talking about too. Uh-huh. And there's no way he can do that. She's super Becky White.
You know who I went to go see Straight Outta Compton with opening weekend?
Straight Outta Compton is different than Black Panther.
Okay, whatever.
Black Panther, you can't... Show me a white and black couple, though, unless they've been together solid for years.
If I was dating somebody white at the time, I would have taken them to see Black Panther.
Look at her, and I would have heckled them. I'd have went back to my old school me, being about like, what's up with this white boy up in here and shit, though. And look, and I'll be like, who said that? I might even say it was me, though.
Well, you ignorant.
Then I'll be like, hey, yo, where that white boy at? Up in here, though, with the black girl. Go get with the white girl on the other side of the thing, though. And I would be like that, and that's just kind of what it is.
Whatever. We have different views on this.
You can't take somebody to the R&M concert, and he's sitting there clapping and laughing. She got the vultures around her. No, she's uncomfortable. The vultures sitting around her like, wait, this bitch goes to the bathroom. We got her ass. And he like laughing, sitting there laughing like Stevie Wonder. She want to go to a George Strait concert. She didn't want to be there at all.
This is so ridiculous. We have different views on this topic.
We do. We have a lot of different views, and that's why this podcast is going to be so dope. Make sure y'all email us, landocalpod@gmail.com. Raven's going to pick the next movie of those, y'all. So if it's whack, y'all don't even put it on me.
Hey, that's not on me. We need some good movies to come out.
Oh, no. It's going to be, we're going to do old movies, too.
Oh, okay.
We do any movie.
All right, cool.
Like, you ain't seen Casablanca. Casablanca's a dope joint.
Okay.
You need to see that.
All right, fair enough.
All that, man. We doing it. So thank y'all for listening as always. We out.